Hello, hello, my girlfriend. I'm glad you reached out because I'm going to share some great things with you. And hopefully with this video, you can kind of understand what's going on, especially as we do the age thing. Okay, so a lot of people don't understand how important it is to train your muscles. And the reason for that is because people don't understand what the function of muscles are. They just think, oh, I want great muscles because it looks good. But in all reality, your muscles have a function for the body. So I'm going to do a brief explanation about what that's all about. And then when I explain, the little light bulb's going to come on. I get it now. Okay. So your body is a kinetic chain, okay, from the head all the way to the toes. You've got stability, which is your head, mobility, which is your shoulders, stability, which is your core, okay, mobility, which is your hips, stability, which is your quads, mobility, which is your knees, okay, stability, which is your calves, mobility, which is your ankles, and stability, which is your feet, okay? So what happens is if we have any of the stability, which is your muscles, compromised, okay, meaning that they're weak, okay, any of the stability is compromised, then the mobility is going to have some issues, okay? It's going to take a hit, okay? The joints are going to take a hit. So it's interesting because in our age bracket, and usually when I have clients that come in that are new and they're our age, that one of the first questions I ask is, do you have any problems with your feet or ankles? And a lot of times, about 50% of them say, oh yeah, I have plantar fasciitis, or I have, my ankles or whatever. Okay, plantar fasciitis is what we're hearing all the time in our age group. All right, and so when somebody comes to me and they say, yeah, I have these issues, then the next question I'll ask them is, have you ever had plantar fasciitis? Or is this an all of a sudden thing, okay? 9 out of 10 times, they're gonna go, no, I just started having it like in the last year or 2 years, or, that's when the light bulb goes on in my head going, ding, okay, that means that they have something that they're lacking. Calves, okay? Because remember how in the beginning I talked about the what is in between the joints, okay? So if you look at your ankle, okay, and your feet, the only thing protecting them is the calves. That's it. That's the only thing. So if you have underdeveloped calves, then chances are over a period of time, you're probably going to have some issues with the feet or ankles, okay? There's always an exception to the rule, all right? But that's in general. That's what happens as we age, okay? The other thing is sometimes people will go, well, I have great calves, and like genetically, you see people have these beautiful calves, and you're like, what the heck? They don't work out, okay? So here's the thing. Just because they look developed does not mean they are developed. So that's why, people that don't do, muscle training but they look like they have muscles, okay, doesn't necessarily mean that they are developed. In order for them to be developed, to be useful for the body, you have to do this kind of training. There's no way around it. Lots of different training out there. There's, I'm really against CrossFit. Okay, that's because there's a lot of pounding, a lot of room for, to be injured. Pretty much anything plyometrics, okay, running, a lot of jumping. Plyometrics is anytime both feet are coming off the ground and then landing again, okay, that is plyometrics, and I'm really anti-plyometrics. Jazzercise, any dance classes like Zumba, all right, all that stuff eventually you'll have issues if you do it too much. Now, if you do it once a week, Twice is the cutting edge, but if you do that on a regular basis, chances are you're going to have issues. They're great for cardio, but it's not enough to gain muscle mass, okay? One of the biggest kind of trainings out there that was a hit before the COVID was Orange Theory. All right, it's great, but if you do it too much, again, then we start having some issues with the joints just because they've got a lot of plyometrics in there. Also, training like that, boot camps and, which is Orange Theory it's kind of like a boot camp in a certain sense. They do weight training, but the thing is, it's not enough to develop the muscles. You might get tone, but to actually make a muscle grow, you have to put the muscle under tension longer and harder. And what happens with classes like that, it bounces around too much. They might go, okay, a set of, jumping jacks. Okay, a set of bicep curls. Okay, now a set of, burpees. Okay, now a set of tricep dips. Okay, see, it moves around too much. That's the difference in my training. It does not. Usually I have clients come to me twice a week. And what I do is one day is just legs, and I'll throw in one arm, usually shoulders. And then the next day they come to see me, I go biceps, back, and triceps, and then some abs, right? So what I want to do is I want to kind of demo, what I do for the calves, okay? When someone comes to me first time and trains the calves, I'm very gentle. It's how my training is in general. I don't just say, okay, now do, grab that 20-pound weight over there and let's do, 30 sets of this. Okay, I don't train like that. When someone comes in, first I evaluate what their strengths are and what their weaknesses are. And then from there, we develop this 4 weeks of muscle endurance, not muscle strength, but muscle endurance. That means I want to be able to get a weight in your hands or your legs longer, for a longer period of time, and then harder. So that's kind of what this is all about. So what I want to do is explain, first of all, the calves. Okay, the calves have two heads, all right? Bodybuilding, which is the style I train both heads, all sides equally, okay? That's the difference between what most people do when they go to the gym. They might do, okay, I do a bicep curl. Okay, well, biceps have two heads. Triceps have three heads. Bodybuilding is cuts, okay? You want certain cuts. You don't want bulk, you want cuts. And that's the same thing of what I do with the calves. To develop the calves, you got to develop them equally, not just just one thing and then you're done, okay? Calves are a crazy muscle to train, and it's a crazy muscle to start with, okay? Because most of the time, it's like the burning and the recovery is crazy. But once you get to a certain point, you're good to go, okay? So I'm going to demo it, how I start my clients when they first start, and then how we progress as the calves get stronger, okay? And then you can, do this at home, but what I want you to do is do it very slowly, especially after your foot surgery. That's why I asked you if you had any limitations, if the doctor told you, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. It sounds like there are no limitations, but we're still going to start you very slowly. But like I said, this is how I start every client of mine, regardless if they've had foot surgery or not. This is how I start every client, because the calves are a weird muscle when you start, okay? I'm also going to talk about stretching really, really, really well, okay? And I'll show you how to stretch that. I'm going to be moving my, my phone around so that you can kind of see what this is about, okay? So also a ton of water. I don't know how much water you're drinking, but you need to be pounding the water every day, especially if you muscle train, okay? At least 64 ounces a day. Might sound like a lot, might not. Most of my clients that come see me first time, they're not drinking, not even close to that, okay? What I do is I have like a Hydro Flask thing. And I drink at least 2 of those. They're 32 ounces. I drink at least 2 of those, and I know I've had my minimum of water intake per a day. Okay, that will alleviate any cramping or any bad things that happen. Muscle is, I think it's 70 or 75% of water. So if you are training your muscles on dehydration, that is very, very, very dangerous. So get your water in, number 1. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do again is I'm going to show you how to start this training. Okay. What I do is I work with reps and sets all the time. Okay. But with calves, I'm going to start with 10, 10, and 10. Okay. 10, 10, 10, which is really like 30. Whoa. Okay. In your case, I don't want you to worry about the 10, 10, 10. Maybe it's 5, 5, 5. Maybe it's 8, 8, 8. I don't know where you are, since I'm not here to see what, so, you're not here to, I can evaluate. I'm going to show you what I do, and then you are going to modify as you need to. Okay. So the start of this is, number 1, I want you to, you might already have one of these at home. Maybe Scott can get you one of these 2x4 like this. Okay. This is for progression, not when you start. This is when you get better. And I'm going to show you what's going to happen with this little piece of wood that's going to make your calves burn like crazy. Okay. All right. So what you want to do, Kathy, is you want to start with, oops, let me change the little angle so you can see my feet. Okay, so see my feet? Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna turn your toes to point inwards. Okay, so the toes are like this. All right, so you're like, I guess you call that pigeon-toed, right? And then you're gonna lift for 10. Okay, just like that, 10 times. All right, lift. Okay, I'm gonna do the side so you can see what my heels are doing. They're just lifting, all right? 10 of those, okay? After you get to your 10, you're gonna switch your feet and you're gonna point the toes facing out, okay? And then you do 10 of these, right? 10 toe lifts. I guess this is like a little ballerina, second position if you ever did ballerina, right? Okay, so 10 of those. Then this third set will be toes straight, 10 of these. Now this is when you'll feel the burn, Kathy. You're like, oh my gosh, burning, 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 okay? 10, 10, 10. Usually my clients go like this. Okay, ouch, ouch, yeah, okay. All right, so that's what you want to do. 10, 10, 10. 10 toes in, 10 toes out, and 10 straight. Now what I was saying earlier is, if you're feeling the burn, like crazy burn at, rep 6 or 5, then just stop it there, okay? Maybe do 5, 5, 5 your first day, okay? 3 times, all right? And then the next time you do it, 6, 6, 6 times 3, okay? And then you can progress. If 10 is a good number and you're okay with that, then that's fine. But I want you to know that we don't want to push the calves too much too soon, because then we're going to be in trouble, okay? So that's what you want to do. And again, like I said, times 3. So what you can do is, after you do your 10, 10, 10, give your calves a little break, drop down, and do a set of abs, okay? Abs for 10, just like this, okay? Right, 10. You could do a little more if you want to, totally up to you, okay? Then set number 2, all right? 10, right? 10, 10. Drop down, do a set of abs, or you can do a set of squats. Totally fine, whatever you want to do. Then then your third set. 10, 10, 10, okay? By that time, your calves are really gonna be screaming, 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 okay? Now let's talk about progression, okay? When the first week, let me just tell you, the first week, that's when the clients are like, well, let me back up. I should say 50-50. 50% of my clients come back and go, hey, I didn't feel anything, they were fine. The other 50 are like, oh my gosh, Tina, you killed my calves, right? It's weird. It's a really weird muscle. And so if you are really like the other 50% that's like, ouch, oh my gosh, I thought I was going to die, then the second time you hit calves, which would be the next week, okay, once a week for now, then you're gonna do it exactly the same way. No progression yet, okay? If your calves are like, they weren't bad, then go for progression. Progression is the 2x4. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if they didn't hurt without this board, they will with this board. It's a whole different ball game, okay? They will be like, ouchie, okay? So here's progression. All right, so the board is gonna be down right here, right? The same thing, 10, 10, 10. Okay, the toes are pointed in like this, and you're gonna lift. Now your core is gonna be challenged. If you don't have a good balance, you might be wanting to stand next to a chair or something for balance, okay? So you're gonna 10 like this, toes are pointed in, okay? And then 10 pointed out, okay, lifting just like this. Sometimes I see my clients doing this, all right? That's your core working for you, balance, right? 10, and then 10. And I'm telling you right now, Kathy, this is no joke. It will burn, okay? Right? And I'm now just to turn the board sideways so you can kind of see what's happening, right? 10 right here, toes are pointed in, right? Like that. Toes are pointed out for the next 10, and toes are pointed straight for the next 10, okay? That's only when you're ready. That's progression number 1. Progression number 2 is with some weight, okay? So basically, hold on 1 minute, I'm gonna grab a weight. Okay, this is a 5-pound dumbbell. Okay, you can use 4 pounds, you can use 3 pounds. You know, my suggestion is don't do 5 right off the bat. That's a lot, okay? My suggestion is to do a 3 or 4 pound dumbbell for the next progression. But again, that's only if you are ready, and you'll know you're ready. I'm kind of speeding up the process, but this is actually over a period of, 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, depending on the issue with your foot surgery, because we don't want to push it too quickly, okay? So progression number 2, okay, is with the hand weight or any kind of weight, all right? Same thing, Kathy, okay? The toes are pointed in, and all you do is just hold the weight. A lot of my clients are like, what do I do with my hands? You're just holding it. You're adding 5 pounds to your body, but you really don't want to do that for reals, right? Right? So 10, and then 10, right? 10, and then 10, okay? That's the progression number 2. Progression number 3, obviously, I'm sure you've already figured out, you're going to increase the weight. So if you are at, you grabbed 2 or 3 pounds, then the next week grab 4 or 5 pounds, you see? So you just keep increasing the weight as you're ready, all right? This isn't about heavy weight. You don't need to end up with some 20-pound in your hand, okay? We're just making some progression to make that muscle develop, okay? Now I'm gonna bring you over here to show you how to stretch, because this is very, very important. You wanna do this regardless if you feel tight or not, okay? So if you have a set of stairs, I'm gonna put you down here. Let's see, I don't know if you can, sorry, Kathy, okay. Yeah, there you go, set of stairs, okay? And what you can do is you're gonna drop the heel down like this to stretch out the calf muscle that you just tore up, okay? So 30 seconds, okay? Then switch, do the other side, drop the heel. Now you will feel a nice stretch in that calf. 30 seconds, and then repeat it, okay? And you will repeat it like 3 or 4 times, and then you can do it several times in your day, okay? The calf muscles is when they tighten up, that's when we get into trouble, okay? So if you do these calf things and your muscle tightens up, then what happens is, say if you have a dog and the dog runs across the street and you go to run after it on a tight muscle, that's when you have a problem, okay? Typically, oh my gosh, I'm always like, nah, with my clients, because typically the clients that have issues are my most advanced. That's because I'm pushing them when they're in here, And then they leave and they're not doing their homework, which is stretching. And then they'll do, dancing on the dance floor with heels on. And then, they have issues later, okay? Every muscle to grow needs tender, loving care, okay? And the number one ingredient is rest, okay? So in other words, when you do calves, or any muscle for that matter, you don't do the same muscle the same day, the next day. You want it to rest for a good few days, and then you can hit it again, okay? So I hopefully that you understand it. What I want you to do is, after you see this video, shoot me some questions, okay? I would like for you to video yourself doing it so that I can see your proper form to make sure it's okay. That's really important, is the form is spot on. And no board is necessary right now, and no weight. So right now we're just starting body weight only on the floor, okay? But make a video of yourself doing it so that I can correct it, okay? And then that way we know that we're spot on. So that's really the logistics of it. I tell you, Kathy, after you do this, I have a client, actually, she's coming in, she's my neighbor, she's coming in the next hour, and she is close to 60, and she's always had a problem the last couple of years with plantar fasciitis. She told me a month ago, it's gone. It's completely gone. She said, every now and then she might feel a little twinge, but she never knew that she could have, this issue resolved just from having developed calves. And that's what a lot of people don't get. They don't understand what muscle training is about, which is why I never do anything else besides. I do other things. I bought my Peloton, but if I only have 3 hours to work out in a week, it's going to be muscle training, because I understand what happens if I don't have developed muscles. And like I said, the bonus is just, you feel great in an outfit, but in reality, we need these muscles to, make sure we take care of our joints. And again, the other bonus is metabolism. For every pound of muscle you gain, burn so many calories while you sit there at rest. And that is why my body pretty much stays the same. And I can go off of my eating plan, which I do every weekend. I eat and drink whatever I want over the weekend. And then Monday hits and I'm back on, my usual, which is actually a lot of food. That's a whole nother can of worms. People aren't eating enough food, okay? So if you have any more questions or any concerns, let me know. I hope this video explains it. I kind of sped it up a little bit more, but we want you to develop those calves safely. Okay, I should say that when you are doing those toe lifts, if you feel your ankle feel weird or your feet feel weird, then back off, okay? Go into modification. Modification number 1, if your body weight only, don't do as many reps, okay? Or as many sets. Maybe start off with just 2 sets, 2 sets of 10, 10, 10. That's if you start to feel weird in your ankle or your feet, We want to make sure the only place you feel it when you're doing it is your calves. Actually, when you do these, you're going to feel a little more than calves. You're going to feel it all the way up and in your glutes as well, okay? And that's a whole nother can of worms, why you should have developed glutes, right? So, but you should not feel anything, whatever you do, you should never feel anything in your joints, okay? And if you do, let me know and we'll modify. That's why I want to see a video of you doing it. I just want to make sure you have the proper form and that everything is spot on, okay? So I hope that this is helpful. I want to see that you get nice developed calves. And during the summer, you can wear some shorts and show off those calves as a bonus, all right? And I'll be more than happy to help you out with anything else, okay? Let me know. And I hope to see you soon. I miss you, all right? Love you, girl.